And we're live in the mud drill once again here. Today on the show we got Chris Young. He's a fucking good old Boilermaker. Yeah, so Chris, what do you think of the podcast?
I think it's pretty awesome. Watched a few episodes so far. You know, you've been talking about this for a couple of months, so
yeah,
it's nice to see it happening.
How was your quarantining?
Well, it's long. I've realized you don't need fun to drink. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like either took two paths with this. Like they either like just were working out the whole time, like being super healthy, or they just drank. Like I find like people are the two extremes at the point. Like,
I'm the latter of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people are drinking, man. Dealing with things their own way, right? But
essential workers, those liquor stores, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I wonder how much business has gone up with those guys.
You guys heard about like they wanted to actually close the liquor stores? Like I mean, it's just a rumor that I heard, but I was like, seriously, like if you're about to do that, like if you want like a civil war in Alberta, yeah, fucking close the liquor store.
Or I seen something that was like 2 years ago, like weed was like illegal, you get like arrested for it. Now it's an essential service. Like,
well, in April, actually, weed sales surpassed liquor sales, believe it or not.
oh really?
Yeah, man. So people are definitely staying home in quarantine.
A lot of people still buy weed like from dealers and shit, though, don't they?
Oh yeah, the black market for sure. It's just the quality wasn't there. So people were just going what they knew, right?
Is the quality way better if you buy it? Like,
Well, it depends. If you got a guy that's been growing weed for 30 years, I'm sure he's a little bit better than a startup company that started for a few months. And I know when I did smoke weed about 2 years ago, I bought some legal weed, and when it happened there, I guess last year and a half ago. And it was dry, man. It was like it was packaged in 2016.
yeah.
And so, you know, they had to step their game up to compete with these guys that knew what they were doing.
Well, what I like about the weed stores and shit is like you know what you're getting. Like you can get weed that's like super high CBD that doesn't really get you stoned and stuff, right? Like I find like that was a deterrent for a lot of people smoking weed. Is like they try weed, but it'd be like so fucking strong that they'd be like, oh my god, like get like bad anxiety.
Those
right?
indicas, right? So,
yeah.
But I find I talk to a lot of people that are like just getting into the weed now, and a lot of them are loving these edibles.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really picking up.
Aren't they illegal though, right now?
I know as of this year, they're legal now.
Yeah, you can buy them. You can buy them in the store.
No, but you're only allowed. I don't know exactly the milligrams, but they're only allowed. They limit on how many milligrams you're allowed, and there's a bunch of rules.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 milligrams.
Yeah.
A gummy or whatever, then 100 milligrams in a bag.
And there's even sprays too. A couple of guys I've been talking to are just using like literally a spray. It seems like it takes the fun out of smoking weed.
Yeah. And when it's kind of like it's just you spray it.
Yeah, just spray it on your tongue. Yeah, it's changing worlds. When we were growing up, man, you know, you used to hide behind the building to smoke a little J with your buddies back in the day.
Well, what I'm interested in seeing is like where it's gonna go over like the next 10 years, right? With like them gonna like open up like weed cafes and stuff like that, right? Like places like that.
Yeah. Well, I was a judge in the Cannabis Cup there a few years ago in Amsterdam, and there's a lot of legalities over there too, right? But there's a lot of like gray area because technically they're not allowed to buy large amounts of weed. They're not allowed to have large amounts of weeds. Every person's allowed 5 grams on the personal possession at any given time, right? That includes your hash and your weed. And they had it set up like that, coffee shops and stuff, and it was actually really cool, you know. Like, it was cool to go there. And
because I've been there, and that's the one time I went. That's all I did was smoke weed in the cafes and everything. And yeah, it's nice. You can smoke weed, like hang out, have a snack and stuff, right? But when is that gonna be a thing here in Canada now?
You think we're gonna be the next Amsterdam?
No, it's hard to say. Like I know Canada was the first country to legalize it, so you know we're innovative, but
like with that too, could bring all sorts of different tourism too.
Yeah. Well, like look at Amsterdam. A lot of their tourism is based on that.
And no one ever really complains about like tourists, like stoner tourists. It's not like a bunch of people come here to smoke weed and cause like a ruckus. They just like go and eat some fucking food and like.
And it's still looked down upon around the people. Like I know when I was there, they were closing up a lot of cafes that were in certain areas of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And they kind of wanted to segregate all of the people in one area, more so than just everywhere, right? Yeah. Like they wanted to take it out of the old downtown, and there was still people that kind of put their nose up to it, but it's just you had to get down to their culture.
Because I heard anyways that Second Cup like when weed first legalized, I thought they had some sort of plan, like they were going to have it so you could smoke in there and stuff. Because at the Amsterdam Cafe in Vancouver, you used to be able to smoke there years ago. Like when I was in high school, we went there and smoked weed and stuff. So
yeah, and like in Vancouver, I went there a couple of summers ago, and you could actually buy a membership from these places. Bring your own bong and smoke their weed out of your bong in their establishments, which was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, because we went to the Volcano Lounge, I think it was, and you could use like their volcanoes and shit like that. Yeah. So what do you think's gonna happen here over the next couple months with the turnarounds going ahead and the COVID and the social distancing that they want to?
It's hard to say, man. If that second wave hits like they expect, because I know I read an article, China's closed their gyms and swimming pools because they're kind of getting a second wave, and I'm pretty sure what they're telling us isn't all the truth, but a lot of those medical researchers and nurses and doctors are saying this is a very contagious disease. It might not kill us young people, but you're definitely going to transmit it, is what they're telling us.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I know the shutdowns this year, I see a lot of people having to wear the paper masks over their face, and you can be reprimanded if you don't wear them, even in camp. And so there's going to be change, but I know over the last couple of years we kind of roll with the punches with everything we do.
So what right now, like, are they doing in camp? Because I know guys have gone up there now. So what protocols are put in place in camp?
Well, it depends. Like, I had a couple of buddies that were in Curl, and I was talking to them, and it was pretty extreme there, as well as my roommate's Fort Mac right now. He was telling me the kitchen was kind of closed. They bring their food, like, kind of like a service. They bring the food to you, eat in your room, then they take away your plates, as well as they pack your lunch, like bag lunches.
Yeah.
So if you don't like egg salad sandwich, then
like
they
the
pack an
dream
egg
life.
salad sandwich.
It's a dream life.
Yeah. So the
like living with your mom
eat
again.
You can't eat in the kitchen. You eat in your
Well, I know at Curl, a lot of guys told me that they closed the kitchen down because that place was hit. There was 18 people at Curl, I heard, last going off had COVID. Now my roommate was in Fort Mac just before they shut down Suncor, and he was telling me they weren't allowed to go in the kitchen. You know, they packed the lunches for them. They pretty much didn't want anybody touching anything.
Yeah.
And like today, I went to go get Luke a slush puppy. The cups are gone. You got to ask for the cups from the lady, and then they give you a napkin, and I had to like take the napkin and put it on the handle to pour the slush puppy. And then she gave me my lid and my straw. So it's like they're trying to eliminate people from touching things, and like, you know.
You can definitely tell that like the moods changed on everything too. Like there's a lot less people taking it as serious.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, but
I mean, like at some point, like mental health is health too, and I feel like at some point you got a breaking point. You're like, okay, I'm gonna decide between like having like a cough or whatever that I might survive, or shooting myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I'm going pretty dark there, like to the extreme, but it's actually, man, like at some point you gotta get out and like live, you know?
Yeah, you know, you can still go out and go for a walk. I see a lot of people doing the outside things, but like some places you're not allowed having more than, they call it 2 bubbles. Like I know back east, I'm not allowed to go visit Newfoundland this summer because no tourists are allowed in Newfoundland. So I can't even go back to see my family, right? So I know each province is taking it differently. Quebec is opening up pretty much everything right away, going back to normal. And they were hit the hardest, so we'll see. I know Alberta's starting to transition into stage 1 here.
May 14th, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with this phase 1, like we've talked about it before, but like, so restaurants are able to open, and how are they going to do that? You only have half the people in there, or like?
Well, like they're just, people are aware now. Like, I don't know, when you went to a birthday party, can you imagine someone blowing their candles out and then eating the cake right now?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, no doubt, yeah.
You know, like, people are going to change their way of life for sure. It's going to, people have already got it in their heads.
It's a new normal, right? Yeah. I don't know.
But what really gets me is watching people drive by themselves with masks on in their cars.
Yeah, I've seen that
I don't get that one, man.
Yeah, I know, like, or like people like walking outside, like they're with their mask and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's okay. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, at some point, like, where do you stop?
Yeah.
Where do you stop to be paranoid, right? Man, I'm like guilty of it because I went like with my full on like gas mask.
I saw with the glasses on.
I did grocery shopping. You know, I got a newborn, right? So I want to make sure she doesn't catch anything of it. So I'm going in in the superstore with my full-on gas mask, with my sunglasses
well,
on.
like a 3M.
A 3M with the gas filter, not the dust filter, the gas one.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm just like
the full
whatever.
face.
Yeah, and I took a Snapchat picture before and people didn't believe me. I'm like, fucking right. And like there was like a bunch of gothic people or whatever, and they were scared of me.
He was pretty much just a latex outfit away from a Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Oh man, like people.
So
like,
were people like staring at you the whole time?
Yeah. But I didn't give a fuck. At this point, I didn't give a fuck. It was just like I was taking precaution to make sure I don't bring or give anything to anybody, and you know, it's like
Did you feel weird when you were wearing it?
Oh yeah.
This was also at the beginning before everybody started wearing masks.
Yeah.
So was this?
It was probably overdoing it, and I know it's probably overdoing it. A bunch of us told me I was overdoing it, but at least I did it.
But were you doing it as a joke, or were you doing it?
But it's kind of both.
Yeah, both.
I was not sure actually, because I was like, whatever, I'm gonna be safe, and anyway, like I'm gonna make people laugh or cry. I don't know.
And you just had the baby as well. So
Yeah. Like I got a few week old at home. I'm like, yeah, you get paranoid, right? You know, like people are like, yeah, people are dying of that flu and stuff, and like those little lungs are like they just open.
Is that what you were imagining when you?
Yeah, I mean they're
Closing them up.
like both lungs are probably as big as my fist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you imagine like there's something that goes in there and like make them stick together or whatever? Like I was thinking of all that. Anyway,
Well,
just
Being
that
a
science
responsible dad.
At that time
Yeah,
too, it was pretty scary. Like when it first started happening too, with the news and everything like that. You weren't sure where things were gonna go, right? But
at first, I was the first one to be like, "Fuck this shit! I'm gonna live my life anyway." Blah blah blah. And after, like, my parents were supposed to come in Alberta to meet the baby, and like last day, just before they flew, they had to cancel their flight. They're like, "Yeah, like we don't know if it's safe to actually come here and get stuck here and all that stuff." So yeah, that was like heartbreaking, but whatever. You remember I fucking FaceTime you the minute after the.
well, I'm supposed to go to Kelowna this weekend, and like a bunch of friends, we rented like an Airbnb, and we got like a boat and everything. But now, is this wrong to be doing that?
That's the thing. We were like on the verge to actually like being.
You guys are all young, healthy individuals, so I'm sure.
Yeah. So what? You know, like.
Just don't go around your grandparents or your older aunts and uncles.
But now people are gonna look at us and like look at us negatively that we're doing that, right?
Did you ever care about what people think of you?
No. Well, I don't know. In something like this, I don't know. I think I would feel bad because I would be like, is this right? But then you look at other things that can still go on, like the grocery store. How is that any safer than fucking being with some of your close friends going on a boating trip?
The grocery store is mental right now, in my opinion. Like, they got aisles with like arrows. You can only go certain ways in aisles.
Yeah.
And then I find everywhere right now they put you in a lineup. Like, I find you're sitting in a lineup with 30 or 40 other people, breathing up all their air, and they're trying to keep.
Well, that's just it. Just because you're 6 feet away from this person, like if it's in the air in that building, like who's to say?
Yeah.
You
But
see,
I've been
planes are there. There's no like no social distancing on a plane. They're still filling the planes up.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they
That's
make you do
weird,
a
like, how
2-week
that
mandatory quarantine after you fly. Right.
well,
now.
no, domestic. So Steph's aunt just flew in from Ottawa to Edmonton,
Yeah.
and the plane was full, like completely full with people.
That's so weird how it applies to
Crazy.
some places and doesn't at some other places.
It's money, right?
Well, the
Yeah, I know.
airlines are saying too that even if they were apart from another person, the way that the air works inside that
Circulates.
plane, it's just circulating
Yeah.
air anyways, right? So it doesn't matter. And like economically, they can't even fly the planes with only 2/3 of the people, right? It's just not.
Not worth their time.
They already suffered like such losses already, right? With
Hey, what do we say? Fuck COVID. Let's talk
Yeah.
about something else. I wanna wanna know more about you, Chris. I wanna know more. Like, what's your story? What's your background? I don't know if like anybody, like a lot of people know you in the trade, but tell us your background story.